Okay, we're going to talk about our free pick ASBC this week. We're going to start using these follow-ups. We like to send out results from each pick each week. We're going to use them now as videos, as follow-ups. So if you're going to stay on our free picks list, you'll start to learn our methods just by listening to the follow-ups, which we do for our members as well. Every day we have a wrap-up video on all of our picks and kind of talk about each trade and why we took it or why we didn't, and things we look for, and proper entries and such. So we're going to do that on our free picks from now on as well. So as you can see, we called ASBC if it gets up to 1937 with a stop at 1899. Let me show you what happened here. ASBC, this is the daily. Let's go to 5 minutes so we can break it down. Okay, as you can see, it opened at $19 and sold off down to 1877. So that means it had to run from its intraday low of 1877 all the way to 1937. That's a good 60 cents. That's too far of a run off its lows to buy the high of the to buy the trigger. So that made it a no trade right there. We were watching it all day because it stayed relatively strong compared to the market. Of course, it didn't help much that let's go back to the daily. It didn't help much that Lehman Brothers did this today. So once Lehman Brothers did that, it was probably the kiss of death for all financials. So it never, ASBC, let's go back to that chart, never really gave us an intraday setup, as you can see, because it did that quick sell-off and then the pop. And like I said, it had good relative strength. We really thought something might happen there, but it wasn't to be. So the point of this video is to make sure that if we do call one at, say, a trigger price, no matter what the stock of, for an example, 1937, if the thing sells off all the way to 1877 before it triggers, that is definitely a no buy, because you've got a 60-cent run. Who wants to buy after something's already run 60 cents? So that makes it a no trade. And I'll show you where we talk about that. Always want to, whenever we send out a free pick like this, you always want to click on the trading rules. And number 10 right here, if one of our pick gaps down big at the open, or if it sells off at the open, then triggers later in the day, we'll pass on the trade, because it won't have much momentum left after it has to travel a long way to get to the trigger price. So and buying in that situation is asking for failure. So that's the reason we have rules in place. But I would like to show you some things we do here. Like one of our favorite things to do now, and our members I think like the most, is our intraday calls. We had the whole list of picks for today, but we also had a few intraday calls, and I'll show you one. For example, when the market was showing weakness, this is Goodyear Tire. Let's go to the daily. You can see it was very weak and breaking below all this. So in the middle of the day, we found this long base and called it below this base right here. So we said in chat, we did the tone and everything. We send out a tone alert to let you know about the trade. We'll short it at 1844 if it gets down there, with our stop right above this base at 1861, and it hit 1844, and as you can see, went all the way down to 1773 for over a 70-cent profit potential on on 1,000 shares. That's a nice little trade at the end of the day. So that's an example of what we do. As a matter of fact, I think that was our only call that we toned all day. And we had one other kind of interesting thing happen today, where one of our members private messaged me. Let me type this in here, about GAP, Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company. Private messaged me somewhere around here, so I went and looked at the daily chart, and then I could see that it was certainly oversold. Switched to 60s, and like I said, it was around here at the time. And I knew if it broke the high of the day, it had no resistance over here to the left. And so we called it at, let's go back to fives and show you. We called it at 1355, and it went all the way to 14. And I sold most of my shares in the 1390, so I made over $1,000 on that trade. The point of that call isn't so much that that it worked so well, but also that our members are, this Stacy has been a member for a long time, and that was Stacy's private message to me. And that's kind of what happens in our chat room sometimes. is one of our members will private message me. I'll look at the chart, and so it's not always us making the plays or making the calls. So that was a great alert by Stacy, and I think a lot of us made some good money on that. So it's kind of just another aspect of the teamwork that we have there. And I guess that'll about wrap it up. We just wanted to follow up on our free pick, and we'll send out another free pick next week.